The movie opens on a woman named Shalu. It's a video of her recorded by her friend Gaurav. Gaurav is watching the video on his phone and smiling. The man's visibly in love with her. She has another friend named Dev Prakash, who also loves her a lot. Dev tells Gaurav he's just proposed to Shalu at a temple. Envious Gaurav can't seem to believe what he just heard. He uses one of the robotic arms in the warehouse and finishes him off. The scene then cuts to 6 months later, and Gaurav and Shalu are now married. They are at the 50th anniversary of the robotics company, Unicorn, where Shalu's brother, Jayant, gets promoted to a board of directors. There are many other contenders like Nishikant, the company's owner's son, or Tamang, the owner's right hand, and Arvind, a senior employee in the company. Mr. Satyanarayan, the company's owner and CEO, chooses Jayant instead because, like him, Jayant also comes from a humble background. Additionally, Jayant is also meant to become his son-in-law very soon. Jayant already has an affair with the boss's personal assistant, Monica. He is not the only one involved with her. She has an affair with almost all the senior male employees in the company. Monica tells Jayant she's pregnant with his baby. At first, he thinks she's just fucking with her, but then soon realizes she is serious about it. Monica says that she'll keep the baby and take good care of it. All Jayant has to do is tend to the baby's financial needs. Frantic, Jayant goes to tell his fiancée everything. He holds back the moment she receives a phone call and threatens to get her best friend's cheating fiancé killed by her father. At his new office, Jayant receives a parcel with photos in it that shows his intimate moments with Monica. There's also a letter inside the envelope inviting him to a hotel. In the hotel room, he finds 2 of his colleagues, Nishikant and Arvind. Nishikant tells Jayant he's not here to blackmail him because he is nailing Monica. In fact, he doesn't give a fuck if Jayant was nailing his father even. Nishikant reveals Monica is blackmailing him and Arvind too. He proposes that the only way to tackle Monica is to put an end to her. Nishikant explains the entire plan. He takes out 4 coins with playing card figures on them. Ace will eliminate the queen, Monica. King will transport her body from one city to the other, and Jack will dispose of it in a secret location. As a fail-safe, Nishikant brings out a murderer's agreement, whereupon he has written the names of all 3 men. You see, Nishikant can manage to do the deed, but what if the other 2 partners chicken out after Monica is killed? He can't take the fall for it. Damn. This guy is my IQ level. Anyway, he manages to get their thumb impressions on the agreement and keeps it with himself. Nishikant convinces Monica to come and meet him on the pretext of giving her money. He puts the body in a van that Jayant is supposed to drive to transport the body to the agreed-upon location. Arvind backs out and says that he had a nightmare about Monica the other night. Jayant agrees to come with him. They reach their agreed-upon location and spot a leopard there. They throw the burrito-looking tarpaulin-wrapped body out into the open and run for their lives. The next day, Jayant and Arvind are in an investors' meeting, and they see Monica approaching. It turns out, someone made a burrito out of Nishikant that night and put his body in the van that Jayant was supposed to drive to get Arvind. ACP Naidu, who's leading the case, suspects Jayant because he's had the motive to kill Nishikant. Nishikant and Jayant did not get along after Jayant was made board of directors in Unicorn. Since Nishikant was boss's son, his father had promised him the position. So it also means Jayant will inherit everything alongside her fiancée after Nishikant is gone. His fiancée, Nikki, tells Jayant she is not least bit remorseful about his brother's death because the fucker wasn't even a real brother. He was a stepbrother who came from her father's previous marriage. The scene then cuts to Arvind receiving a wooden box from the killer. He opens it up and gets bitten by a breathing cobra inside it. Jayant is watching a news telecast and hears about the death of his friend Arvind, while holding the same deadly wooden box in his hands. Luckily, somehow he manages to get out alive. At work, he receives the photo of the murderer's agreement that he'd signed with Nishikant and Arvind. He is asked to come to the building's rooftop to take it. There he finds the agreement, but someone pushes him from behind. He survives yet again and finds the agreement to be a fake copy of the original. Now we know who the killer is. It's Gaurav, the same guy who killed Dev Prakash in the opening scene. Why is this tiny loser on a killing spree all of a sudden? Anyway, Giant still suspects Monica to be the killer. He puts a belt out of one of his pants and goes to strangle her. A huge fight breaks out between the two. Giant shows mercy to Monica at the last minute when he thinks about the magnitude of the crime he is about to commit. Giant and Monica lie down on the floor together and start crying. Giant says he knows she killed Nishikant and Arvind and attempted to kill him twice, but failed to do so. Monica says she knows nothing about the murders. She asks Giant who's going to pay her bills if he died. It turns out she didn't even meet Nishikant the day he invited her to give her money. She went to meet him, but he didn't show up. Monica confides in Giant and says she's never blackmailed anyone, she's just collecting her taxes to make ends meet. They converse and Monica takes out a bottle of wine and pours it for both of them. Giant is just about to gulp it, but he gets distracted when he receives a phone call from his fiancée. While Giant is on the call with Nikki, Monica has her glass of wine and dies instantly. Later, ACP Naidu calls Giant and inquires about Monica's murder. She reveals to Giant that someone injected Monica's wine bottle with snake venom. She says they'll match his DNA against the child's DNA to check whether Monica's baby was his or someone else's. ACP Naidu also reveals to Giant that Nishikant and Arvind's DNA didn't match with Monica's baby, so the odds are against him now. Giant goes to meet Unicorn's company ex-safety officer, who was expelled from the company because Dev Prakash had died under his watch. He explains to Giant that someone is trying to frame him now that he is a member of the board of directors. They both suspect Tamang, the CEO's right hand. You see, if Giant dies, Tamang is next in the line to join the board of directors. Shalu is mad at her brother because she came across a file that reveals it was due to her brother's negligence that her previous lover had died. Giant says it's all a lie and that someone is trying to frame him. He promises he will soon find out who the actual culprit is. If someone had manually accessed the robots that day, he will be able to find out who it was by restoring all the deleted entries in the database. He goes to the warehouse along with Gaurav and discovers that it wasn't Tamang, but Gaurav, who'd manually accessed the robot arm on the unfortunate day. They fight it out, and Gaurav confesses all his crimes to a semi-conscious Giant. He says he is the one who killed both Nishikant and Arvind, but he didn't kill Monica, she was killed by someone else. He has no idea who it was, but he will find out one day and kill him too. That day when he got rid of Dev, Nishikant had caught Gaurav in the act. Nishikant then blackmailed Gaurav and used him like a puppet. After Giant was made board of directors, Gaurav installed cameras in Giant's room for jealous Nishikant to monitor his every move. Nishikant then told Gaurav to put an end to Monica on his behalf. That didn't sit well with Gaurav. Gaurav didn't want to commit any crimes anymore since he was living a happy life with his wife Shalu. Nishikant threatened to tell Shalu everything if he didn't do it for him. Now that's when Gaurav lost it. He got rid of Nishikant and put his body in the van. When he found the murderer's agreement signed by Nishikant, Giant and Arvind, he decided to get rid of them too, so he could live a peaceful life with Shalu. After opening up to Giant about all his crimes, he drags Giant's body to the very spot he'd exterminated his friend Dev. However, Giant takes out his smartwatch and cracks the robot's arm's algorithm with it, and thus getting rid of the psycho killer. Giant meets ACP Naidu and tells her everything about Gaurav. He says Gaurav has gotten a taste for blood and went on a killing spree. ACP Naidu then reveals in a news telecast that it was Tamang who had injected poison in Monica's wine bottle because she was pregnant with his baby that he didn't want the world to know. He then felt remorseful about it and ended up consuming the same poison and thus putting an end to himself. Next time when Giant meets ACP Naidu, he asks if Monica really was pregnant. Naidu tells Giant she was indeed pregnant, but not with his child, but with his bosses. The child was either his brother or sister-in-law. At the end, it's revealed that it was the company's boss who'd put Monica to sleep by signing the job to his right-hand man, Tamang. Monica was threatening to tell his daughter Nikki about her pregnancy. Once Tamang had done the job for his boss, He'd wanted to become a member in the board of directors. The man had also demanded a certain percentage of the company's shares. In the end, the old man called ACP Naidu and asked her to get rid of Tamang and close the case. Naidu tells Giants she would love to do business with him in the future. This bothers Giant, and he goes looking for the original murders agreement that he has not been able to find just yet. It's the only proof against him. He looks for it in the unicorn factory and then at his sister's house, but he's unable to find it. Giant then goes to Gaurav's old house where he finds the agreement hidden behind Shalu's portrait in a drawer. Upon burning the agreement, 2 venomous cobras descend down to his face, hissing. As soon as the burning letter falls from his hand, the scene cuts to black, avoiding the viewers from knowing his fate.